Hi, everybody. Thank you for introduction. I'm more than happy to welcome you all on my presentation. Today we'll be talking, we'll try to answer the question which a lot of mobile marketers have problem to answer to at the beginning of any marketing activities, especially when it comes to organic traffic. So I will present today a pre-SO analysis framework elaborated by Sodesk. And this framework helps to answer the question, which is the title of my today's presentation: in which countries should you be growing your application organic traffic? A few words about myself. I've been engaged with App Store optimization for more than 3 years already. I'm working at Untitled app company. We are tech providers for ride-hailing entrepreneurs all around the world. We have more than 200 applications in more than 70 countries. And I am an ASO Desk ambassador as well. We are doing a lot of researches together with ASO Desk. We are preparing the papers, researches. We are preparing insights. We are trying to discover new topics in App Store optimization and spread between around community. So today's presentation will be based mainly on 2 points. In the first part, which would be a short one in comparison to the second, I will try to outline the importance of pre-ASO market analysis as well. So I will outline 2 main things: why pre-ASO market analysis is so important, and which points should we analyze while doing this pre-ASO market analysis. And in the second part, which would be much longer than the first part, I will show you, and we will go through different points of our ASO Desk pre-ASO analysis framework. We'll look into different columns, into different data, and we'll share this framework itself with you, so you can use it easily in your companies, in your marketing activities. And I'm ready to answer any questions about this framework. Before we move to this framework analysis itself, just a few words about ASO Desk. We are working in ASO for more than 7 years already. We have dozens of thousands of clients. At the moment, developers trust us and the data we provide about organic traffic. And we've created more than 30 tools which helps ASO professionals to work with applications, and we have a few thousand subscribers in our community. So on a daily basis, we talk, we discuss different topics which concern organic traffic growth of the application in different markets. So let's move on to the first part of today's presentation, which, as I have said, I would like to say a few words about pre-ASO market analysis. So when we talk about App Store optimization, initial analysis of different markets helps to plan optimization activities in the most effective way. So in some countries, ASO might give significant impulse to our application organic growth, and in some not. I guess this is obvious. So it all depends on a variety of factors. So this pre-ASO investigations allows us to insert App Store optimization in our marketing activities, and do it in the most effective way. Then we can, thanks to such pre-ASO market analysis, we can prioritize the markets, choose the countries which we see that would be the most effective to target for us from the very beginning. And what is another super important factor in our opinion, that very important advantage of such an investigation is that we would be able to set prudent key performance indicators for our ASO activities. Bearing this in mind, the one might ask, so what should we analyze while doing such an analysis of organic traffic before planning our ASO activities? So what is at ASO desk, we think that any product owner needs at least those three main metrics to find opportunity to grow. So we need to understand the volume of the market from the organic traffic perspective. We need to understand how tough is the competition on those markets, and we need to understand what would be the potential for our application in a given market niche. So in terms of organic traffic, we know which ASO metrics are core to those previously mentioned areas. So let's move to ASO desk pre-ASO analysis framework itself. So basically, it looks this way. This is a part of the framework. So this table gives an opportunity to build a coherent set of data about organic traffic and make data-driven decisions. So this framework is especially valuable for decision makers, marketing leads, ASO leads. It helps to prioritize and plan organic traffic optimization activities, as well as to do results assessments, as I've said in the first part of the presentation. So let's go through our framework and look into specific metrics we use. So for today's presentations, we have chosen meditations applications, which are pretty popular at the moment, and they are getting even more popular all around the world. We've chosen 15 countries and 16 applications from this market niche. Like we are doing this pre-ASO analysis framework for application Meditopia, which is quite popular all around the globe. So let's move on to the first piece of data for our pre-ASO analysis framework. So internal metrics. Here, the data you see on this part of the table has been assembled for, as I've said, for the application Meditopia. Basically, number of impressions, app units, and conversion rate app units / impressions has been evaluated by ASO desk platform. So those are not exact numbers because we don't have access to this information, but we are calculated this according to ASO desk algorithm. So this is rather data augmented calculation, not real data. However, total ranked keywords data might be calculated by ASO manager, or it can be extracted from ASO tool. So we've done this with ASO desk platform. So the basic idea of this part of the framework is to assemble all the internal metrics for the need application and compare them with the competitors later on. You see here that all the cells are colored. So the greener is the cell, the better is the metric for your app in comparison to others. Following the same logic, the more red the cell is, the worse your data is. So all those pieces of data are compared with the competitors, which we'll look into later on. Excuse me, this is the train. Let me just 20 seconds to close the window. excuse me. So as you see here, we've got a set of internal metrics for our applications for all those countries. This is like, this is super clear. We see everything at a hand, and we have the cells colored, and this helps us to get an understanding of the state of our application internal metrics in different countries, and comparison of this data with our competitors. Plus, we have on here conversion rate category benchmark for health and fitness applications. So we can compare, and the colors in app units / impressions column helps us to understand whether our conversion rate of our application is higher or lower than average conversion rate in our category. So at this moment, we are getting understanding of state of the things of our application on the market based on our internal metrics. Then we move to market volume. So at this step, ASO managers spend much more time than in others. So it is needed to assemble semantic core at this step and get a share of branded and non-branded keyword. For this study here, we didn't share semantic core by branded and non-branded keywords. However, we definitely advise to do this and get an understanding of on how the market in a given country is penetrated by branded keywords. So then we collect monthly daily impressions for this semantic core, and we get an understanding about total traffic for given market niche by countries. Additionally, at this point, we mark whether Apple search ads are available in those markets, and we get a number of active devices in a given country. The number of active devices we retrieve from reliable marketing report. In this case, we have taken this data from newzoo.com report. So, okay, so at this point, we have an understanding of two important things. So we know the internal metrics of our application, and we know the market volume. Now we need to compare our internal metrics, market volume, and state of the things of our competitors. So basically, we take here two core numbers: number of friend keywords extracted again from ASO service, or it might be assembled by ASO manager manually, plus estimated monthly downloads taken again from ASO platform. In our case, we have taken this data from ASO desk platform. So again, the greener are the cells, the bigger is the number in comparison to our application. And again, we can go through our competitors and compare the data of the internal metrics of our application to metrics of our competitors. We can compare this to market volume and get understanding the markets which would be the easiest to get more organic traffic for us. And we have this all-in-one table. I guess this is a super clear and understandable way for decision makers to plan marketing activities in the area of organic traffic. And then we move to the next point, which helps us to set goals for potential growth of our application. So in a monthly search downloads growth potential, we check the highest number of installs between our competitors and subtract from this highest number of installation of our competitors, and from this highest number of installation of our competitors, we subtract the number of installations our application is getting on this market, and divide this number by coefficient. So basically, we set a data-driven goal for organic growth for our application. So what is coefficient? Coefficient is set by marketing teams. This is totally this is a number which is set voluntarily by decision makers, marketers, solids, etc. So we should take, when setting this coefficient, we should take into consideration competition on the local market, current state of our application on the market, etc., etc. So all the data we analyzed in the previous parts of the framework. So basically, the idea here is that this coefficient should be based on all previous information and may be different for different countries. For instance, in this case, we have said that we went through all the data, for instance, for United States and UK, and we came to a conclusion that competition is pretty tough there, that coefficient might be 0.1, that like we set a goal to take 10% of possible user base in those countries, and in cases of France and Germany, the competition isn't that tough, and we have set coefficient 0.6, like we set a goal of to get 60% of installations on those markets from monthly search downloads growth potential, which is not the total number, but the number, as I've said, the highest number of installations which our competitor is getting on the market, and we subtract from this number of installation our application is getting from this. And this coefficient might be changed in course of the marketing campaigns. So we can, for instance, in some countries, we see that we acquire organic traffic better than we were supposed to, so we can increase this coefficient. And in some countries we see that we've got some problems. It is more difficult than we expected, and we can decrease this coefficient for our application. But the most important thing that we get a data-driven growth potential goals for our application. And before we move to the final suggestions in the point of our framework, two very important things which we should take into consideration, and we reflect them in our desk preso analysis, are other metrics. Here we assemble the data where the interface of our application is localized for a given country, and plus we take into consideration how many locales work there. So we can count how many characters for keywords we have for given countries. For example, here we see that in a few countries our application is not localized, so we are not able even to talk about organic user acquisition for those countries, because first we need to localize interface languages. And in some countries, for instance in Russia, we see that interface is localized in Russian language, and plus we have here 3 locales which rank in Russia. So this gives us wider opportunity to use keywords. We have almost 500 characters for keywords for Russia. So we can prioritize, for example, this gives additional points to Russia to be prioritized in our organic traffic marketing activities. And the last point of the framework are final suggestions. So we assemble all this data, and this can be assembled by ASO manager. So we are getting this table, a lot of information, but based on this information, decision makers can set suggestions and set final priorities for our organic traffic acquisition. So we propose here 4 main suggestions. However, they are optional. You can set up your own final suggestions depending on your goals, on your activities, your attitudes in your marketing strategies. So first of all, excuse me. First of all, we get here. We answer the question whether there is a general whether there is growth potential for our application at all, because as we said, in some countries our application interface is not localized. We are not able to move on with organic user acquisition in those countries, so there is no growth potential for us at the moment. First of all, we need to move on with interface localization. Then we can set up whether we should rather reach for installations growth potential, or we should improve conversion rate of our application, or we should do both. And the last point is product localization. So here, a decision maker is analyzing all this data. It is discussed within the team, and then final suggestion. Each market is getting final suggestions, and we can easily prioritize markets and set goals for our team. So based on all the previously mentioned data, we and columns and different metrics, we are getting easy structured analysis at the very end. And we definitely believe that such pre-SO analysis framework helps decision makers to make data-driven decisions based on clear and understandable structured metrics. Here, by scanning this QR code, you can access this document, which is public, and you can copy it and use in your marketing activities. You will see there all the formulas which we are using. So should you have any questions, just reach our support team, and they will help you with any questions regarding this framework. At the moment, we have a lot of discounts for our plans at ESO Desk Plus. For all participants of a promotion summit, we are giving 10% off for our plan. So if you are interested, just reach ESO Desk and get your discount. As I've said, at ESO Desk, we are doing a lot of researches. So those you see on this slide are the last and the biggest researches we have made, and we've made a lot of efforts on those researches. First of all, an analysis of the gaming business in this year and the changes which coronavirus time made in the area on App Store and Google Play, plus a few tips for companies. Very similar attitudes as I presented today. How much should you be investing in App Store optimization? So kind of a framework for decision makers, which would help to make a data-driven decision, and outline of main trends this year from the well-known experts from ESO world. All these materials are placed on our blog, so eso.com/blog, and we constantly update it. We constantly publish there different researches we are doing, so feel free to reach our knowledge base. Plus, should you have any team members who would like to dive into ESO and get more understanding how the techniques and the tools are working in ESO, we have our channel, and there you will find, I guess, 10 lectures which we recorded last year, a course academy from ESO Desk for newcomers in ESO. It might be especially available for marketers to understand how ASO is working, to make collaboration with ASO members of your team easier, to make more to understand what they are talking about easier. So YouTube channel of ASO Desk. And the last thing is our ASO Slack community. We've got there hundreds of ASO managers on a daily basis. We discuss different things. So should you have any questions about ASO, you might join our Slack community, and definitely you will get answers to the questions you have. Thank you very much. That would be all about ASO Desk pre-ASO analysis framework. Hopefully this will help you to make data-driven decisions, clear decisions, and effective planning of organic traffic campaigns. That would be all from me. And now I'm open for any questions.
Great. Okay, thanks, Artyom. Okay, we got a couple of questions already. If anyone else has any more questions, then fire away. And we got a bit of time, so we should be able to get to them. So question from Elia from Social Point. I believe that's a sort of games company or gaming. Would you prioritize by operating system or OS when you start looking at different countries? Some data is not always available depending on the console.
I hope I understood the question well. So what should we do if we don't have enough available information for setting up this framework? So I guess I would advise simply to leave some points blank in this framework and simply omit them and assemble the data you have. So at the end, while prioritizing and setting up these final suggestions, you might simply set up some hypotheses. We don't have some information. We are not able to compare some information we have about this market to peers. However, we can set up the hypothesis that the number here wouldn't change the state of the things that much. And we can move on with this hypothesis, and we can check this while prioritizing and making some efforts in organic traffic. So yeah, I would advise, as I've said, to move on, to leave those cells blank, and try to hypothesize.
Okay, great. And Ivo, who's the CEO of Cogsum, he wants to know, just want to confirm that the data shown by your platform is not extracted from the App Store. It's built upon ASO Desk logic. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah, this all the data extracted from, as I've said, all the data for internal metrics has been extracted from ASO Desk platform, which is, and all the ASO Desk generates all this data based on our algorithm, which takes into consideration a lot of data about the application, like all the ASO services are doing. And we, this is not a precise metric, but a data-driven calculation of number of impressions, for example.
Great. And another question from Elia. Would you recommend getting rid of the stores in which the app is not available, localized in the main language, or is better keeping them active in case you have a small but still a certain amount of NGUs, she's saying?
Hopefully I understand your question well. So does it mean that if you say that if your application is small, or you're not, you haven't launched your application yet, and how to handle with this framework? So we would advise, if your application is not live yet, so you won't be able to do this pre-ASO analysis for your application. However, you can make a pre-ASO analysis for a competitor which is small, or any competitor from your market niche, and to create this framework for this competitor, and you will get an understanding about potential growth in different countries. So I guess this would be effective insight for you, because you will get an understanding the market niches which are on which competition is not that tough, and the market niches which have more opportunity for growth, so you can move on to those market niches. Yeah. So
I think Elia's specifically also talking about localization. So what about stores? Maybe you've got it, you don't have it properly localized for, let's say, the Spanish market. Should you leave it up there or not?
As I've said during the presentation, if your application is not localized, there is we don't advise to put marketing activities in area of organic traffic for this market. First of all, you need to localize your product, and then you should go on with marketing activities there, because it's widely known that if your product is not localized in a given language and you reach for this market, you will get a high deletion rate, which will impact your general metrics of your application, and might influence your application ranks in other markets. So no move on to those countries until you localize your interface.
Okay, great. Well, I think that's it for the questions so far. So yeah, I want to say a big thank you to you, Artyom, for joining us again. I think that's your second App Promotion Summit digital event, and I hope we can see you soon, maybe in person, perhaps in Berlin in December.
Perhaps it would be great to see you, James.
Great. Good. All right. Well, thanks a lot. And I guess people can stay up to date with you on the app follow links we provided. Yeah, great. And I think we'll try and paste your offer into the office section of the site as well. Great. Maybe you can send that over to the team after this. Great. All right. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.